Ronnie, welcome to the podcast. I'm so thankful to have you here, man. For people who aren't familiar with you and your background in sport and how you and I met, would you mind filling them in a little bit about who you are and all the amazing stuff you've got going on, man?
Yeah, my name is first, I want to say thanks for having me. Um, Feels good to be on here talking to you and, kind of reconnecting. Um, my name is Ronnie Satchell. I played football and basketball and lacrosse and stuff in Wycomico County area. I went to Wycomico High School. I met Dan through what I call a life-changing experience because, that was something that I'd never thought in a million years would happen to me, but when it happened, I was struggling with what was going on, but Dan helped me through a really dark time, and I'm forever thankful for Dan.
Yeah, no, and I mean, a huge shout out to some of our other amazing people involved at that point too. Our boy Dr. Wiley,
Dr. Wiley.
Dean White, all the goats
Coach
that
Wiley,
way.
yeah.
But you mentioning about, this athletic background, I mean, first off, I think you're too humble, Ronnie, because everyone in the Wycomico County area seemed to know who you are. And they also seemed to notice that you were a freaking stud at football, at basketball, and I think lacrosse too. Is that right? Give me a little bit more of a rundown on that kind of high school sport background, man, because from what I hear, you were the guy in Wycomico County.
So, in football, I was a 4-year varsity starter. Um, Although I'm more of an offensive guy, in my opinion, like my earlier years to like see playing time, I had to like play defense and go out there and get dirty. But like my sophomore year, I was into the offense and I knew the plays and whatnot. So I started on football. I started on defense and offense my sophomore year and up through senior year. And then with basketball, same thing. I played 3 years of varsity basketball, but first year and a half, I didn't really see much playing time until I got into the system, and from there, I had a good relationship with both my basketball and my football coach. Um, Lacrosse is a different story though. I never played lacrosse until like my sophomore year. Our quarterback, he had said like he wasn't going to play football anymore. That he so I compromised with him. I told him if I play lacrosse, will you come play quarterback and throw a couple passes to me every couple games? So he was like, yeah. So I went out there, I played, and it was different. It was it was a little bit of a struggle in the beginning because the catching and the throwing was different from what I was used to. So once I got used to like the stick movement and catching it and tracking the ball through the stick, it was fun. I think in lacrosse it was kind of more fun to me because it was kind of like a mixture between football and basketball, if that makes sense. Because the way you play defense is kind of like basketball. It's like now you can shove and hit people with the stick. So I always say it's like basketball, but you can foul. So, but yeah, I had fun playing lacrosse. I kind of wish like now looking back, I kind of wish I had started playing lacrosse like when I started playing football and basketball. But I mean, they have a couple little like men's leagues and stuff going on around, and they have like a tournament every year in Ocean City, so I'm planning on getting back out there soon.
I was gonna say we're gonna witness the comeback here of Ronnie in lacrosse that way. We've already kind of witnessed the comeback of Ronnie in relation to basketball that way, which
Yeah.
obviously how you and I led to meet that way. For people who don't know the story, and I hate to make you recount this, but I feel like you've probably told this story dozens of times already that
One more won't hurt.
I was gonna say one more just for the books.
Yeah.
What happened and how did we? Because as you mentioned before, it was life-changing, but it's also like, man, I never thought this would happen to me. Like, I
Yeah.
see it on TV, I see it with other people, but I never expected me of all people, right?
Yeah. So, I always remember it as the last day of April because it was the last day of April. Uh, Me and a couple of friends had called me and asked me to, like, come play basketball. I wasn't really feeling it that day, but, I went still anyways, and we were having a good time. We were just shooting around at first, and then we ended up playing a little 2v2, 3v3, and then we started playing ones when some people started falling off, so we were going in a rotation. and I had rolled my ankle a little bit, but like I just tied my shoe up a little bit tighter and just kept playing. So about probably like 2 or 3 possessions later, I had like went from a triple threat, and like when I went to go like explode off the triple threat, like I fell. And it really didn't shock me because I mean you lose your footing sometimes, but I was feeling like a little pain in the ankle that like I had previously rolled, and I thought it was just still like the rolled ankle until like I stood up and like I looked behind me, it was nothing behind me. I thought I had tripped over something. That was the only thing I thought I had got tripped. So when I looked behind me, it was nothing there. I looked to see if it was like a little ball or something on the court that maybe I didn't see. It was nothing there. So then like my friends helped me up because they were like, "What the world?" So when I went to go take my step, I couldn't walk, and it was just like it just felt like it was just a lot of pain. So I hopped over to the bleachers, sat down. I immediately like felt for the back of my ankle to see like was my Achilles there. I felt my left ankle was there, my right ankle nothing. So I have quite a few friends that have actually torn their Achilles also, who play like football and basketball too. Like when you tore your Achilles, like how did it feel and like what was going on? And like from what I was telling them, they were saying like, yeah, I think you might have tore your Achilles. So I called my dad and I asked him, hey, could you come pick me up? I think I might have tore my Achilles or whatever. So we went to the emergency room, got some X-rays. The X-rays, of course, showed that my ankle, my bones were okay at least. But I contacted Coach White, asked him what he thought, and he got me in with Dr. Wiley the next morning. Um, I think later on that week, I ended up going and getting an MRI, and it was confirmed that I ruptured my Achilles.
Yeah, and it's one of those things that it never gets easier to hear that, I'm sure. And it's one of those things that everyone talks about ACLs and meniscus tears, and I'm probably guilty of that because that's always what you hear about on TV and all this sort of thing, right? That seems to be the epidemic, but the Achilles epidemic is probably almost as prevalent, if not as prevalent as
And
those things.
and
And
it's weird because I never realized how much it happened until it happened to me. Now, like all of a sudden, I'll be watching with Aaron Rodgers. When Aaron Rodgers fell and I saw him look back and he stood up, I was like, "Yep, it's probably Achilles." Jason Tatum. Uh, what's the guy's name from the Pacers? Tyrese Halliburton.
yep.
When I saw it happening to all those guys, Damian Lillard, I'm just like, every single time I said, "It's probably his Achilles. This is Achilles," and every time it just happened to George Kittle and I think Tucker Craft this season as well. So I'm like, dang. Um, Prayers to those guys, but it's like it's almost like now, like since it's happened to me, I know what to kind of look for, and I can almost call it before they even announce it on ESPN or on Twitter or whatever. So
Yeah,
yeah,
and, like, NFL, NBA, the numbers are crazy that
yeah,
way, and I mean, I know Adam Petway has done phenomenal research looking into that, and at least on the basketball side, I think it was around 100% of them. I could be misquoting his research, please double check me on this, but I think it was around 100% occur with that false step, kinda like you were outlining
yeah,
before. It's like, for some reason, we shift a little too far back, and it just pops, and
yeah,
they haven't quite fully figured it out, but it's one of those things that I think there's also a little bit of misconception from the athlete side, especially when I've seen this in high school and college athletes. There was a lacrosse athlete I was on the phone with not too long ago who had this happen senior year of high school, which again seems young to me. But he was like, "So I'll just get it put back on and then I'm good to go, right?" And I was like, "No, like this is gonna be like a 6 to 8 month recovery."
yeah,
And I don't think people know what that looks like, and I think it can be very easy to get bogged down with that. I know day one, I distinctly remember I was like, "He is not happy to be here right now."
nah,
But
not at
it's
all.
especially because it's like, "Man, we give you the most boring stuff." It's like, "What? Like, toe curls? Like, really? I got a boot with wedges in it. I don't wanna freaking do this," you know? So, what kind of things did you do that you felt like enabled you to keep going during that time? Because I know it's not easy, especially going from being able to do whatever you wanted to literally, I'm stuck in a boot. I can't really walk around that well. I'm on crutches or a scooter or whatever that way. Like,
Yeah.
how did you kind of manage to get through that?
Uh, I wanna say, like, 2 weeks post-surgery, I wore my hard well, I didn't have a hard cast, I think I just had, like, a splint kinda, sorta,
Yep.
um, I for so I had that on for 2 weeks, and those 2 weeks, I really didn't do much of anything, I just, laid down, caught up on some TV series, started some new TV series, um I didn't really do too much anything, I just sat around, I'm a big gamer, but I really didn't play the video game that much because, like, moving around was a little bit too much for me. I always had to make sure my leg was propped up, and then, like, the pain the first couple days until those stitches came out was just it was tough, but, after after I got the stitches removed and the splint took off, things things got better. I mean, like you said, like, the first couple days, like, you saw me, it was like I didn't wanna be here, but then I realized, like, if I take this seriously, I can get back to what I like doing a little bit sooner than maybe it would take other people who just halfway do it. If I go all the way in, maybe I can get done a lot faster than, you know, and get back. So, I just came in with the mindset that, I'm just gonna go ahead and give it what I got and we're gonna get through it the best I
Yeah.
can.
And we've mentioned Dr. Wiley a few times, who absolute legend, freaking love that guy.
Mhm.
I miss seeing Wiley on my caseload every single day when I'm in the clinic that way. Obviously, he's a legend. What kind of things made him so legendary to you? Because obviously some people, they go to a surgeon and they don't really have nearly as many good things to say as you and I do about the surgeon that way. What kind of things really stood out to you and made it kind of worthwhile for you there?
Well, I actually met Dr. Wiley, I wanna say my junior or senior year of high school. Not kn Of course, not knowing at the time that he would ultimately be my surgeon for my, Achilles, surgery, but, uh, so, I mean, our first meeting or whatever came in there, he's like, "Hey, Ronnie, how you doing?" I kinda didn't remember him, but then when he started talking, I remembered who he was. Um, he gave me the rundown. He told me, I mean, like, I could get you in as soon as this week. Like, once we found out that it was the rupture, he told me he could get my surgery done that week, but, some things happened. We ended up having to reschedule for the following week, but nonetheless, he got it done. Um, the scar, it isn't a horrible scar. It's actually kind of faded in with my skin now, so it isn't terrible at all. Um, he always checked and made sure everything was good. I'm just really thankful that Dr. Wiley took good care of me and whatnot. It's almost
Yeah.
like, I don't know, like, I don't even remember anything about the surgery. I remember showing up there. Next thing I know, I was home.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I think he said it was a 90-minute surgery or something like that, but I don't remember anything.
Yeah, it's a blur. It's
Yeah.
the craziest thing. I do notice every time I've worked with people who have had surgery there at the surgery center, they tell me the same thing. It was a really good experience. They tell me, like, people were in a good mood, they were happy, it was quick. So,
Yeah, I
yeah.
was really nervous beforehand, but, afterwards it was just like, "Okay, we got it done." It doesn't look terrible, and I mean, at first it didn't really hurt, but once what's it called? Like, the numbing thing, once that rubbed off, I felt everything, but at first it didn't hurt for, like, the first day or 2.
Yeah, that nerve block, man, them nerve blocks
Yeah.
are they're great that way. Yeah, and I think having a good surgeon and having someone who is concerned about more than just a procedure, that actually wants you as a person to do well that way and is gonna reach
Mhm.
out and check in regularly, and that's
Yep.
exactly what you had. I think that makes all the difference in the world, having someone who's really invested that way. I still remember right before you were going back for your about 3-month follow-up, I had mentioned to him, I was like, "Yeah, he's only doing like 25 single leg calf raises at a time, and I wanna get him to 30." And he's like, "Wait, hold up. He's doing 25 single leg calf
Mhm.
raises? He's crushing it." So I think you absolutely crushed the rehab long term that way. I don't know if you can think back this far because this is a couple of years at this point. What kind of things do you feel like went well and we did well in the process? Or is there anything that maybe we could have done different or done better?
Well, I know for one, I'll never forget all the calf raises. Um, I'll never forget the what do you call it? Like when your heel is kind of like up, but you
Yep.
too well. Yeah, I'll never forget those. I remember those were like the calf raises. They didn't really bother me, but those ones, the hill floats, those would get me. I would be shaking. I was just like, oh my gosh, how much longer can I just sit here? And like every time I would just try to say like 10 more seconds, and then when the 10 seconds be up, 10 more seconds, 10 more seconds, and I would try and keep going, but um,
We used to do
uh,
competitions with that, I
yeah,
feel like. We would hold it for, like, freaking 3-minute long
yeah,
ISOs. You had that little BFR cuff on. Yeah, and I'm pretty sure you pulled, like, Pete and Joe in, I think, once or
yep,
twice in
yep,
there too. I'm
carrying,
pretty
yep,
sure Joe tapped out well before you
yep,
did.
yep.
Do you feel like we loaded it enough to the point where you look down and it looks about the same size as the other? Or did it shrink up on
I
us at
think
all?
I think while I was rehabbing, I think my both my calves were the same size. Maybe my right was a little bit stronger just because that was the main focus and the one that we were working on. Now I think my right is slightly smaller, which means I need to get back in the lab and get back to doing my calf raises and things like that. But at the time they were pretty similar. They were in size, yeah.
I think the other thing that amazed me about your kind of return to sport process too is how quickly the power development side of things came back for you. Like I remember we were measuring your vertical all the time and you were getting like 35, 36-inch verticals.
Mm.
Like it's nothing. And I'm just like, this is literally insane. Like you were easily one of the most, I hate the term explosive, but you were easily one of the most explosive athletes I think I've ever seen at that 4-month, 5-month, and 6-month mark of that return to sport post Achilles process that way. Like it just, you made the last half of that rehab look so, so easy, dude.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was just like fueled off competition as well. I don't know if you remember Logan used to come in and work out with us and stuff like that. And with me being a wild guy and him being a CSD guy, like I couldn't let him outdo me. So I always had to do just a little bit more than what he was doing. So
Yeah, I
then he
think
got
that,
me a couple times too.
I think that worked well, and I think that's something that, I need to expand on in the future. It's so funny because I mentioned this idea to a few people. I'm like, we could have, at least in the Wicomico County area, it's like we could have literally blocked like a 90-minute section where it's like any of the athletes we work with from Bennett are coming at this time, any Bennett's from Parkside at this time. Like we could have like really taken advantage of some of them kind of small town rivalries, I think, that
Yeah.
way. Because everyone gets better through that competition, right? Everyone's pushing themselves harder, everyone works harder. I think a lot of times people see that stuff and they think about the bad side of it, but I only think of the good sides. I think competition brings out the best in you, and when you're competing like that day in and day out, it makes you even more hungry, I think.
Mhm.
So, and obviously, you've decided to go into the route of making this kind of a future career path that way. I know we've talked different times about like your exercise science background and kind of looking PT long term and so on that way. Is this something that influenced that, like this experience at all, or what are your thoughts on that?
Well, I was already a exercise science major before it happened, but I think that like being able to see like what it takes day in and day out to like do this type of job was something that definitely like excited me and motivated me to even more to want to do this. And I was just glad that I mean, I was sad that I tore my Achilles at the time, but I'm glad I got the experience of what it's like to do physical therapy and whatnot.
Yeah. Have you been able to kind of turn around and, maybe not necessarily do the full job of a PT, but at least start to kind of help your friends with different things? Because I feel like
Oh
when
yeah,
you're the
yeah.
guy who got injured and came back strong, everyone comes to you.
Yeah, I tell them what little bit I know. I mean, I still got a lot of learning to do, but I try and help in any way I can. Not too long ago, I had a friend. He had like hurt like the inside of his ankle or whatever, and I was like trying to like see what bones and whatnot that I've learned about in anatomy and stuff like that, and trying to see like what it could be that he had messed up or whatever.
Yeah, and I remember you kept telling me because I think one of your other friends had some
Okay,
Achilles issues, or maybe he tore his other Achilles or something.
oh, you're talking about my friend Nelson. He tore both of his Achilles. One playing football, one playing basketball.
That's
And then my other friend, he tore both of his Achilles both times playing basketball. So I had to make sure I broke that little thing that was going on with tearing both Achilles. I don't know what I would have did if I tore another one.
yeah, we need to make sure it stays like that.
Yeah.
I just remember you telling me different stories about them, and you came in and you were always like, "Man, they just need to do the Thompson test."
Yeah.
Every time I was like, "This guy gets it."
Yeah.
He is with the program here. I was always so impressed with that myself that way. I think one of the things we missed, what was it like for you going back to sport after that all wrapped up, right? After we wrap up the rehab process, after we do all the things and we say, "Hey, you're good to go," right? Like, go back, go hoop, go to the beach, do whatever you gotta do. Like, how did we feel about that? I mean, obviously, we're starting to get to the age where we can't skip the warm up anymore, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. So the day I got cleared by Dr. Wiley, I actually went and played basketball that same day just because like it had been at least 6 months at that point in time since I played, but I made sure to like take it light. I think I only played like a game or two, and then I called it a wraps for the day. And like my friends were real understanding. They're like, yeah, like don't like if you feel like you don't want to play no more or you getting tired or whatever, like just take it easy. Like it's your first day back, and then I gradually like worked my way back in. Even though I was cleared and stuff like that, I still like for like at least like the first 3 months when I would play. I would still wear my ankle brace, um, make sure I got a real good stretch in. I still do my toe walks every time before I play. I mean, like the toe walks. I still do the toe walks every time before I play basketball. I do a little bit of lateral movement on my toes, like make sure like everything's warmed up. Might jog a little bit or something like that. And then like probably so I think I got cleared in like October. Like it was either October 30th or 31st, something like that. I had got cleared. It probably took until probably like that next spring before I like fully felt 100% comfortable like playing basketball again. And uh like the most recent time I played was probably about 2 weeks or 3 weeks ago. I was playing over at Crown and like we played like 7 full court games straight. And I felt fine out there, so I was safe to say like I'm okay now. I
Yeah,
was
that's incredible. That's exactly what we wanna hear, right?
Mhm.
Like, we wanna get it to that point where you don't have to think about it anymore, and I think that's something that's really important for athletes and other people who have had this injury to keep in mind too, is, like, I think a lot of them get this fear of, like, "Oh, will it ever feel the same, or will I ever be able to go about it without thinking about it," right?
well, I definitely say I turned into a perimeter player for the first couple of months. I wasn't doing too much driving to the basket. I was just spotting up, knocking down a couple jump shots, and getting back and playing defense a little bit. I was giving up a couple points that I usually wouldn't like to give up, but I had to just take it slow.
Yeah, but it's possible to get back to that point,
Yeah.
and I think that's really important for people, and to your point as well, I think it's a good way to kinda teach yourself how to throttle up and throttle down. I think
Mhm.
until you get hurt, all you know is how to throttle up.
Yeah.
Once you get hurt now I guess I gotta ask too, since I know you're a big Steelers fan and you'd be collecting on everyone, especially when the Steelers made it to the playoffs and a lot
Yeah.
of people doubted that. What are our way too early predictions for the 26-27 football season here?
Well, being a Steelers fan, I'm gonna always say the way too early prediction is gonna be us going to the Super Bowl. Um, I really think with the team that we have, it's possible. Well, actually, I need to see who's playing quarterback first. But if Aaron does decide to come back and he plays like how he did this year, and we can get a true number 2 receiver to free up DK a little bit, I think we make a push in the playoffs. But if we keep things the Steelers' way, like we had the last 4 or 5 years, then I'll say another 9-8 season.
Makes the playoffs on the wild card and
Yeah,
out the first round.
yeah. But, with us not seeing a playoff win in like 10 years, like that, uh, maybe the Super Bowl is too early of a say. Maybe we just need to win one playoff game and take it one game at a time.
And I forget who your basketball team is.
I don't really have a favorite basketball team. Like nowadays, I just watch every now and again. Like I watched the game the other day with the Knicks and the Lakers. Like, I'm a huge LeBron fan, so uh most of the games I'm watching are Lakers game with his career coming to an end. I might stay up a little bit later just to watch, you know, my childhood era play a little bit.
That dude, I swear he never ages.
Yeah, it's actually starting to show a little bit to me. That's not the same LeBron I was watching when I was 10 or 11 years old going to the finals, taking anybody to the finals, but it is still fun to see him, like, out there, like, windmilling on fast breaks at 41 years old and stuff like that.
Absolutely. No, for sure. Do you have any aspirations to coach or anything like that in the future? I could totally see you coaching a little football or basketball there in Wycomico County.
Uh, as of right now, not really, that's just I don't know. I can't speak about what might happen in the future, but right now, I'm not really thinking about coaching or anything. My main focus right now is just, like, finishing school and, starting my career, really.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think obviously we've talked about the PT interest that way. I feel like I just picture you working with like a sports team or something.
That would be awesome if I could actually do that. But I'm also fine with, like, doing something like what you did and, like, having, like, the little PT place and, like, working with athletes. I do know I wanna work with athletes. I do know that much.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you having the athletic background that you do also makes that exponentially easier because you can
Mhm.
always speak to it from a position of experience, right? Like, you know what the Friday night lights are like on football. You know what it's like to literally get injured playing basketball. Like, I think this gives you a level of relatability that most people in the space just don't really have, and I think that can make you such a impactful clinician, and, I mean, there's several surgeons even that I know, that have torn their ACL, and now they operate on ACLs, and I
Yeah.
think it really says a lot when you can kinda speak to it from personal experience that way, so I think that's really powerful stuff, dude, so I realize we can probably talk about stuff all day long, Ronnie. Is there anything we missed as we were chatting or anything else you wanted to cover today that we didn't get to?
Oh, still to this day, I have not gotten a funnel cake. I have not been
Damn it.
down to Ocean
You didn't go down to Ocean City and
I
get
have
you
not been down to Ocean City and got a funnel cake still to this day.
that dude, I feel like you owe it to yourself to get you
I
out of
do. I've been working out in the gym and stuff like that, but I don't know. I haven't in the summer. I don't think I went to Ocean City one time last summer that just passed.
really?
Yeah, I really just been working. I'm over at Title Health now, so
You're on the
they keep
grind, man.
they keep me busy enough.
Yeah. No, what's the current workout split? Are we doing arms followed by arms followed by arms, or what are we doing?
So me and a couple of guys who I went to high school with and like played football with, we all just Uh, we just take it day by day. Sometimes we might do back and by. Sometimes we just do arms. Maybe do some shoulders. Leg day has become one of my favorites. That's usually the day that I win. We compete against each other every day, and we give out awards on who wins and stuff like that. And most of the time, leg day is my day. So yeah, I mean, we just doing something just to try and stay somewhat fit, and because they say if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. So we make sure we
Absolutely.
can use it as long as we can. So
Absolutely, and
yeah,
I know we gave shout outs to Coach White and Wiley already, Dr. Wiley. But I know you also did some training with CSP back in the day too, and
Yeah,
I would imagine
coach.
just imagine that kinda helped shape what you're currently doing now from a workout standpoint too.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
awesome. Love when stuff kinda comes full circle that way. Ronnie, for people who wanna keep up to date with you, reach out, all that sort of thing, where can they find you online?
So I'm on Instagram. My username is Ronnie.Satchell, RONNIE .SATCHELL.
Awesome. We'll link to that in the description below. That way, if you didn't quite catch it, or if you wanna shoot Ronnie a message, you can just click there and do that. Ronnie, this is awesome, dude. Really appreciate your time and really appreciate you being here, man.
Appreciate you.